You started keto, lost 10 pounds in the first month, felt incredible, and then one day the scale just stopped moving. Sound familiar? If you've been staring at the same number for weeks wondering what went wrong, there's a good chance nothing is actually broken. Keto didn't suddenly stop working, and your body didn't forget how to burn fat. What's more likely is that your body, your calorie intake, and your daily habits have changed since those first few weeks. Today we're going to break down why weight loss can plateau on keto, what may actually be happening inside your body, and what you can realistically do to get your progress moving again. Let's start with something that sometimes gets lost in the keto conversation. Keto isn't magic. Ketogenic diets can be an effective tool for weight loss, but they don't override the basic principles of energy balance. People often lose weight on keto because restricting carbohydrates can reduce appetite for some people, eliminate many calorie-dense processed foods, and make it easier to eat fewer calories without constantly feeling hungry. There can also be significant changes in water weight during the first few weeks, as your body uses stored carbohydrate and releases associated water. That's one reason the initial drop on the scale can be surprisingly fast. But that early progress can create an expectation that the same rate of weight loss will continue indefinitely. It usually doesn't. As you lose weight, your body becomes smaller and generally requires less energy to maintain itself. If you're eating the same number of calories you were eating at the beginning, the calorie deficit that produced rapid weight loss may gradually become smaller. At the same time, your body can adapt to prolonged calorie restriction by reducing energy expenditure and, in some people, decreasing spontaneous physical activity. This is sometimes called metabolic adaptation, and it's one reason weight loss often slows over time. Then there's the issue that catches a lot of people off guard: calorie creep. In the beginning, you're probably paying close attention to everything you're eating, but after a few months, portions can become more casual. A handful of nuts becomes 2 handfuls, an extra spoonful of almond butter doesn't seem important. Cheese gets added to another meal, and that bulletproof coffee quietly adds hundreds of calories before breakfast. High-fat foods can absolutely fit into a ketogenic diet, but fat contains about 9 calories per gram. So calorie-dense foods can make it surprisingly easy to eliminate the deficit without realizing it. This doesn't mean you need to obsessively count every calorie for the rest of your life. It means that when weight loss stalls, an honest short-term audit can be incredibly useful. For a few days, track everything you eat and drink, including cooking oils, sauces, snacks, beverages, and those small bites that don't seem worth counting. You may discover that you're eating substantially more than you thought, or you may discover that your intake is already fairly consistent, and the plateau has another explanation. Either way, you're working with information instead of guessing. There's another important reason the scale can stop moving. The number on the scale isn't a direct measurement of body fat. Your body weight can fluctuate because of water, sodium, food volume, hormones, bowel movements, and changes in glycogen stores. This is especially important if you're exercising, because changes in training can affect water retention and body composition even when fat loss is occurring. A person can genuinely be losing body fat while seeing very little change on the scale for a period of time. That's why it's often more useful to look at the trend rather than individual weigh-ins. Instead of asking whether today's number is lower than yesterday's, look at your average weight over several weeks. You can also track waist circumference, how your clothes fit, your strength in the gym, and other indicators that tell you whether your body composition is changing. A plateau should be based on a genuine lack of progress over time, not a few frustrating weigh-ins. Now let's talk about sleep and stress. These factors aren't magical switches that determine whether you burn fat, but they can make weight management substantially harder. Poor sleep can affect appetite, food choices, energy levels, and the ability to maintain regular physical activity. Chronic stress can also make highly palatable foods more appealing and make it harder to stick with a calorie deficit. So if you're sleeping 5 hours a night, working under constant pressure, and relying on willpower to maintain a restrictive diet, the problem may not be that keto stopped working. The problem may be that the overall strategy has become increasingly difficult to sustain. There's also a psychological side of long-term keto that doesn't get enough attention. A diet can be physiologically effective and still be a poor long-term fit for a particular person. After months of avoiding bread, pasta, rice, sweets, and many other carbohydrate-rich foods, some people become increasingly preoccupied with food or start cycling between strict restriction and overeating. When that happens, the problem isn't a lack of discipline. It's a sign that the strategy may be creating more friction than it's worth. And this is where the idea of a cheat day can become counterproductive. A high-calorie weekend doesn't magically destroy your metabolism, but it can erase much of the calorie deficit created during the previous week. If you've created a modest deficit for 5 or 6 days and then consume a very large amount of calories over a weekend, your weekly deficit can shrink dramatically or disappear altogether. More importantly, a cycle of restriction followed by overeating can make the diet increasingly difficult to maintain. So what should you actually do when your keto weight loss plateaus? Start with the simplest explanation first. Give yourself a short period of honest tracking and look at your average intake, your portions, your activity, your sleep, and your weight trend. If your calorie intake has gradually increased, you may not need a completely new diet. You may simply need to make a few adjustments to portions or calorie-dense foods while keeping the basic approach that has been working for you. Next, look at your activity. As people lose weight, they sometimes move less without consciously realizing it. You might take fewer steps, sit more often, or simply feel less energetic during the day. Adding more everyday movement can be surprisingly useful. Walking, resistance training, and other forms of regular activity can help increase energy expenditure while also supporting muscle retention during weight loss. You can also consider whether strict keto is still the right tool for you. There's nothing inherently wrong with continuing a ketogenic diet if you enjoy it. It fits your lifestyle, and you can maintain it without excessive hunger or preoccupation with food. But you don't have to stay in ketosis forever to lose weight successfully. A less restrictive, lower carbohydrate diet can also produce weight loss if it helps you maintain an appropriate calorie deficit and stick with the plan over time. What about taking a diet break? A planned period of eating around maintenance calories can sometimes make a long-term diet easier to manage psychologically, especially when someone has been restricting for an extended period. Some research has investigated intermittent periods of maintenance eating and found potential benefits for adherence and metabolic outcomes. But diet breaks aren't a guaranteed way to reset your metabolism or automatically produce more fat loss. Think of them as a potential strategy for sustainability rather than a biological reset button. And that may be the biggest lesson of all. Successful weight loss isn't about finding a diet that somehow defeats your biology. It's about finding an approach that works with your biology and that you can realistically maintain. Keto can be an extremely useful tool for some people because it reduces appetite, simplifies food choices, and makes a calorie deficit easier to maintain. But if the diet becomes difficult to sustain, there's no prize for staying perfectly ketogenic while constantly fighting hunger, cravings, or social restrictions. The people who succeed over the long term aren't necessarily the ones who follow the strictest diet. They're often the ones who recognize when their circumstances have changed and adjust their strategy accordingly. Your body changes as you lose weight, your energy needs change, your habits change, and your ability to maintain a particular diet can change. That's not failure. That's biology. So if you've been stuck on the same number for 3 weeks, don't immediately assume that keto has stopped working or that your metabolism is broken. Look at the trend, audit your intake, pay attention to your activity, improve your sleep where you can, and ask yourself whether the diet is still something you can realistically maintain. If it is, make small adjustments. If it isn't, you may be better served by a less restrictive approach that you can follow consistently. Because the goal isn't to stay in ketosis at all costs. The goal is to build a way of eating that helps you lose weight, maintain muscle, protect your health, and eventually maintain the results without feeling like you're fighting your body every day. Keto can absolutely be part of that strategy, but it doesn't have to be the entire strategy. When your progress changes, your approach may need to change with it.